I can't live without them. Jamie Dornan and a man's choice. It was raining lightly in Paris when Jamie Dornan pressed his hand to the window of the apartment he shared with Dakota Johnson. Tiny droplets of water clung to the glass, as hazy as his mind. The room was quiet, save for the steady ticking of the clock on the wall. Behind him, Dakota was still asleep. Her hair was spread out on the pillow, her hands resting lightly on the white blanket. He had seen her like this many times, but this time was the last time. He was leaving. Not because love was gone, but because he had chosen something else, family. Jamie walked over, sat down next to her, and ran a hand through her tangled hair. She stirred slightly, her eyes opening slowly. "You're up early," Dakota said, her voice still half asleep. Jamie smiled, a broken smile. "I have an early flight." Dakota sat up. There was no panic. No drama, just a very real silence. "So, is it time?" Jamie nodded. "I'm sorry." Between two worlds. Jamie and Dakota's relationship didn't start with 50 Shades, nor did it end when the series ended. They'd tried to keep their distance, said, "just friends," made plans to meet with the crew. But the intimacy between them, the silent glances when no one was looking, the greetings that lingered longer than necessary, all of it spoke of something they didn't dare name. Then one day, they stopped hiding. On a private vacation in Italy, no paparazzi, no fans, Jamie kissed her. For the first time, off script. "I know we shouldn't be here," he said afterward, looking down at the clasped hands. "You know," Dakota said. "But that doesn't stop the feeling." They lived with that torment for almost a year. The brief meetings, the late-night texts, the leavings without saying goodbye. But Jamie was still a husband, a father. And every time he returned home, he felt like a liar, the face of guilt. "I can't live two lives," Jamie once confessed to his best friend, sitting in a small bar in Dublin. "What about Dakota?" his friend asked. "Does she know that?" Jamie nodded. "She never asked for anything from me. But the look in her eyes, sometimes she seemed to be waiting for something I couldn't give her." Amelia, his wife, was not a vulnerable person, nor was she the type to be jealous. She was smart, independent, understood showbiz life, and respected Jamie's space. But there was one thing Amelia always held on to: family. "I didn't ask if you loved someone else," she said one night, after the children had gone to bed. "I just asked, do you still want to be their father?" Jamie didn't answer. He just took her hand. And that was the moment he knew he had to stop. Goodbye is not a breakup. Paris was the final meeting. Jamie and Dakota had agreed to see each other one last time. No fuss, no commitment, no illusions. "We never said we loved each other," Dakota whispered as they walked along the Seine. "There was no need to say it," Jamie replied. "True feelings don't need words." Dakota smiled sadly. "But the most real thing is the impossible." They sat down on a bench, silently watching the water flow. "I won't apologize," Jamie said after a long moment. "Because spending time with you was something I never had before. A part of me I forgot I ever had." Dakota didn't cry. She just looked at him. "For a long time, I didn't hold you back. I never had you to hold." Jamie looked away, because the look was so genuine. He knew that if he looked another second, he wouldn't be able to move. One stays, one leaves. That morning, after a final hug and a whispered wish of, "be good," Jamie left the apartment. Dakota stood at the window, watching the black taxi carrying him disappear behind the wet streets. She didn't scream, she didn't hold on, she had learned to let things go, like the ocean letting its waves drift away. Jamie sat in the car, eyes closed. His headphones played soft music, the music Dakota had sent him on a sleepless night. We don't belong together, but having each other in our hearts is enough. Home. Jamie came home late. Amelia met him at the door, saying nothing. Dinner was cold, the kids were asleep. No questions, no anger. Just a hug, and Jamie cried for the first time in his wife's arms, like a child. "You're back," he whispered. Amelia didn't ask where he'd been, what he'd done. She just said, "I know." The next day, Jamie took the kids to the park. He played with them all morning, chasing the kite, drawing in the sand. No phone calls, no work. He smiled, a smile that no longer had any trace of Christian Grey or his roles. Just Jamie, a man learning to be a husband, a father again, the letter that was never sent. A month later, Jamie received a letter with no sender's name. But the handwriting, the smell of the perfume, the way it was written told him right away, it was from Dakota. "Jamie, I'm not writing this to blame you. I understand better than anyone. I just want you to know, I'm okay. Really. Some people come into your life not to stay, but to awaken a part that's been sleeping. You did that to me. And I know, I did that to you. Thank you for not lying to me. And thank you for stopping when you did. I wish you happiness, real happiness, in the world you've chosen." Jamie folded the letter and put it in his desk drawer. He didn't reply, because he knew, some things are best kept to himself.